Hello, everybody. This is Swati live from Los Angeles. We are continuing with our live sessions on mindfulness meditations and using mindfulness meditation as well as the philosophy behind it to move more towards the quest in our life. So, as I was thinking about this issue, one of the things that came to my attention was literature from management, from the business school. As many of you know that my first degree, my PhD, is in computer information systems from the business school, from the Anderson School at UCLA. Now, the business school background does come in handy for me, and that's partly because what we are doing is an important aspect of who we are, in my view, because we are householders. And some amount of business strategy and planning is something that we are doing in our life at all times. So the strategy literature, or setting a goal and moving more towards that goal, we can use the literature from the business school. Now, does that sound a little bit maybe ironical that I'm using mindfulness philosophy, which is for spiritual growth, in which case basically having a quest or having a goal will not be so advisable, because once we reach the goal, we are going to find the futility in it. So instead of being a hamster on a wheel, we want to let go of these things. But wait, we are householders. And what we are trying to do together here, you and I here, is to recognize, identify that yes, we are going to have quests. We want to move more towards the goal, but we don't want to be the hamster on the wheel. At the same time, we don't want to go through this miserable process of all driven, no matter what, intense craving type of miserable journey towards the goal. That's not what we want. What we are wanting to do is to learn how to move more towards our goal with pockets of happiness, pockets of joy, pockets of recognition, and also using our mind. So one thing I want to mention is from a professor at the Anderson, Professor Rummelt. He has written a book called Bad Strategy and Good Strategy. I think it's Good Strategy and Bad Strategy. So in that, I'll just tell you some very simple part of his book, where he says that basically don't mistaken setting a goal for strategy. Makes sense, right? In our case, we know our quest, but the quest itself is not what the strategy is. Strategy is about how do we move more towards the goal. And good companies will come up with good strategies. And yes, we want to be good companies with conscience. So what do we want to do? What is a strategy? A strategy would be to identify a problem very well, and then to come up with an action plan to move more towards the problem, more towards resolving the problem. So many things come to my mind about how to use mindfulness to do that. But first, I want to identify one thing that comes from it, which is to specifically identify a problem. Now, what is a problem? When you are moving more towards whatever it is that you want to go, it could be even happiness. What's stopping you? It could be peace. What's stopping you? It could be having a better relationship with someone or better friends. What's stopping you? Or it could be a career goal, or it could be you have a startup and you want to work on that project and you want to be successful at it. So what's stopping you? You have maybe fear about failure. Is that what's stopping you? If it is in a relationship, is your anger stopping you? happiness and peace, what's stopping you? Are you not able to see the glass half full? So this is the problem. So what we want to do is think about what is the problem. And then we want to get insights into how do we want to go more towards resolving this problem. But before we get insights, we always need to understand whatever we are dealing with on a rational level. And I had asked you in the past to take a pen and paper and to actually write down certain things. So again, I'm going to ask you, you have done this before. I'm giving it a different slant today, which is from the strategy point of view. So we want to come up with a problem, and when it comes to action plan, that's where we are going to use mindfulness meditations to get insights. There is another way in which we are using mindfulness philosophy when we attack this problem. We can come up with a plan of action, but plan of action for the future, we cannot be sure that things are going to work out exactly the way we plan. Even with companies, unexpected things do come up. Political situations, economical situations, so many unknowns can suddenly show up. We are talking about real life. That's even worse. There will be uncertainty. But now we have a tool to sit through the uncertainty, and that is to develop mindfulness in a way that you observe, not get immersed in the emotions, and learn to sit through unpleasantness. So to a certain degree, the insights are going to come as the problem comes up. We cannot anticipate the plan of action. But as per today, we do want to get some insight into what is stopping us. More importantly, if something is stopping us, is there some general solution you know about? Now, today I would like to focus specifically on the issue of relationships. To have a better relationship with your friends, family, children, parents, or whoever it is, or to be able to make more friends. That is, if you want. I'm not asking you to go against your own way of doing things or the way of thinking, as in, if you don't have the need to have better relationships or more friends, it's perfectly fine. But if you do have that need, which a lot of us do have, a need to be connected, if not with the whole world, with at least one or two people. And as I've said before, compassion, self-compassion as well as compassion, compassionate attitude towards the whole world, but most importantly, towards the people who are close to you. So today, because of that, I am going to practice a compassion meditation with you. So what we are going to do today, today's meditation is going to be a loving kindness compassion meditation. And that meditation is going to prime your brain to have more empathy, more specific compassion. Your first step will be to have compassion towards people who are close to you. And then the next step will be to have compassion towards people who make you feel very restless, who make you feel angry against them. So how to have some amount of compassion or understanding towards them. So we made a big journey today. We started at a goal, a quest, then we came to the business of having strategy. And in that realm, we said that today we are going to do a compassion meditation. Okay, so are you ready? Let me know if you are ready. I always forget, a lot of times I have my cup of tea, but I typically forget to have a cup of tea. So at this point, I'm going to get rid of this here, the bottom of identify the problem. Identify, and you can analyze the problem outside the meditation. Meditation is not for analyzing the problem. The focus you develop in meditation will give you ability to do a good analysis of the problem. But once you do that, then you want to actually meditate without doing the analysis. You are going to meditate in the feeling awareness or thought awareness way, which is not about analyzing. That's about the time to get insights. But today we are going to do a compassion meditation. Okay, that's good. So first I'm going to start with this warm cup of tea that I have here, and I'm going to take a mindful sip. If you are watching it live or recorded version, please go and get a cup of tea or coffee or water or anything you want. If you don't want to drink anything, just gaze out of the window. And today we are going to not only feel compassion, but realize the goodness that we have around us. I use the word pockets of joy. Please don't get tired of that word because it's an important, very important part of happiness to know the pockets of joy. This is great. Hans, Wendy, LK, Alessandro are all ready. That's wonderful. Are you guys having any tea or anything? I'm just trying to. I think I'll have to do this. I think you guys can show it. This is just for me to answer. Some people have glass of milk. Some have a cup of green tea. Isn't it wonderful that technology is allowing us from all over the world to connect with each other and have our drink together? So let's do it mindfully. Just relax your shoulders. For some people, it is, I think, late at night. I think Hans, for example, the trooper. And if it is night time for some of you, I hope you don't fall asleep when we meditate. If you do start falling asleep, open your eyes and have the meditation with your eyes open. which would be okay. So close your eyes and take deep breaths. And let's begin our meditation. And now pay attention to your breath, breathing in and breathing out, and paying attention to the breath, the wonderful journey of your breath in and out. This moment, right now, the breath goes in, the center, the most important thing about our existence. And now, in front of your mind's eyes, bring the image of someone you don't know that much about. You have seen them somewhere in the corridor, or it may be just someone it's not even a real person, but an image in your mind without any feelings or any specific things attached to this person. Just a person, just another human being. Bring such image in front of your mind. And send your loving kindness, compassion to this person. Allow your body to be filled up with loving kindness, compassion. Breathe in loving kindness, compassion, and send loving kindness, compassion to this person. And now, in front of your mind's eyes, Bring the image of someone who you care about, someone close to you, important to you, someone who you like and love. And send your loving kindness, compassion to this person. A deep understanding of what they may be going through or may have gone through, and a sincere wish that their pain becomes less and they experience happiness. May you experience happiness. Breathe in loving kindness, compassion. Allow your body to be filled up with loving kindness, compassion. And breathe out and send loving kindness, compassion to this person. I breathe in loving kindness, compassion. And I send loving kindness, compassion to this person. Allow your body to be filled up with loving kindness, compassion, feelings. Let it come to you. All the love and kindness that you may have ever felt for yourself, for the world, allow it to come to you. Allow the goodness, the wholesome goodness through loving kindness, compassion come to you. I experience loving kindness, compassion, and I send loving kindness, compassion to the person I care about. May their pain or problem be reduced, and may happiness come to them. A sincere wish. And now, in front of your mind's eyes, think about a person who has been a difficult one in your life. They have made you angry. They may even have hurt you. Allow the image of this person come in front of your mind's eyes. And send your loving kindness, compassion to this person. Breathe in loving kindness, compassion. Allow your body to be filled up with loving kindness, compassion. And then send loving kindness, compassion to the person who's been difficult. A deep understanding of the problems this person may be going through. And a sincere wish that their problems may become less and they may experience happiness. I wish that your problems be reduced and I wish you experience happiness. loving kindness, compassion. And now hold yourself in front of your mind's eyes and send loving kindness, compassion to yourself. Breathe in loving kindness, compassion. Allow your body to be filled up with loving kindness, compassion. And send loving kindness, compassion to yourself. A deep understanding of anything that may be going through or may have gone through in the past. And a sincere wish that it makes sense to you and your problems become reduced and your happiness becomes more. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I be at peace. And may I be at ease with myself. And breathe in and breathe out. Go back to the breath one more time. Pay attention to the breath. And say the line in your mind 3 times. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Now, you notice that today we try to send loving kindness, compassion to a person who's difficult in our life. My question to you is, was it possible to actually feel a deep understanding of their problems, and was it possible to send them a wish that their problems be reduced and that they achieve happiness? Was it possible to do it? Sometimes for some people, it's more possible to do it than to be self-compassionate, to forgive yourself and to be compassionate with yourself. But the reason this step of being able to send loving kindness, compassion to a person who's been difficult in your life, as you can imagine, is such a big step towards having a better relationship with people. Sometimes it's not possible to have a really deep understanding of their problems and wishing them happiness, but you can take one step more towards it by creating empathy, no matter how difficult these people are, how angry they may make you feel. There's something they're going through. And whatever it is that they're going through, on one level, it is human. It's the common humanity experience. On that level, you can certainly understand whatever pain they may be going through. They may be narcissistic, they may be full of themselves, or they may be making you or sending messages to you explicitly or implicitly that are not very pleasant against you. But just to know that underneath there is a common humanity, whatever they are feeling, to a certain degree you feel that too. And that's the place where the common humanity comes in picture. The question is, can you understand that? And the next step is, can you send them a wish to be happy? In that process, in a way, you are also sending the same wish to yourself. So just see if you can do it and if there is any problem with it. Now, I don't see any comment about it, so I'm not sure if you just had that kind of an issue or not. But regardless, as I said, for the relationships, this is going to be an important thing. Now, I want to go back to where we were before, which is about the strategy part. And what I would like you guys to do is to think about what stops you or what is a problem in whatever quest you have. Identify at least one problem, one specific problem, and just think about it. I'm not asking you to do crazy analysis, obsessive analysis. That's really not necessary. But if you just keep it in your mind and occasionally just sit down and think about pros and cons or why of this problem, that's good enough. And if you can write down a few things about it, that will be even better. What stops you? What is a specific problem? For example, today we talked about a relationship issue. What could be stopping you? Pick one person with whom you have had problems and think about if you would like to improve your relationship with that person or that group of people. That is like coming up with a specific problem. If you are working on a career issue, think about what is it, that one thing that stops you from going more towards whatever goal you have. It could be, I need to do better networking. I'm not doing that enough. Or I don't feel like an expert, although I know these things, but I don't feel like an expert. Or I'm not aggressive enough. Or this other person is going ahead of me, or whatever it is. Or just that it's really tough to in current economy, or whatever it is. Just identify the problem and think about pros and cons of that problem. If your goal is to go more towards happiness and peace, my question is, what stops you? What comes in your way? And if you know that, then that in itself will give you a better understanding of your happiness. You must understand what's stopping you from being happy. If you have any specific situations, do write to me or write it down yourself. And it is possible that you are already feeling more sense of joy and more sense of happiness, more sense of being in control of your own needs. And partly because everything that you have, this will pass too. All unpleasantness or anything that you may be experiencing that's unwanted, this will pass too. Change is the only constant, like they say, which is good news. And so let's all be happy, loving, kindness, compassionate together. And with that, I'm going to say bye to you and I will see you next week. Meanwhile, as usual, start or keep doing body scan or feeling awareness meditations. And I'll see you next week. Bye.